In just over a fortnight, we've gone from wrestling promotions with actual live audiences, remember crowds, to Raw, SmackDown, NXT and AEW Dynamite putting on empty arena shows, to now where even the wrestlers themselves are pulling out, either through choice or not being medically cleared, with Roman Reigns, The Miz, Paige and more not attending WWE tapings. As usual, the wrestling world appears to be slightly behind the real one. WWE still hasn't once acknowledged that Steve Corino is a thing. Maybe they don't want to be demonetized by YouTube either. And are saying WrestleMania is the way it is, in front of no fans at the Performance Center, spread over 2 shows, and entirely pre-recorded because it's too big for one night. Not, because the world is ending. Indie promotions and wrestlers have already experienced the financial effects though, with the huge number of indie shows over WrestleMania weekend getting cancelled. Typically the biggest earning days of the year for many of those smaller companies. And the true independent contractors, indie wrestlers, have now found themselves at home without any shows to work on, lazily asking to get these hand out, Braun? And now it seems the big promotions are starting to plan for the upcoming months of financial strain and hardship too, by potentially preparing to release talent. With Steve Corino freezing the global economy, it's expected 47 million people could lose their jobs in the United States alone, sending the unemployment rate past 32%. Despite WWE being very cash rich at the moment, reportedly holding $500 million in reserves, and Vince McMahon selling a large amount of WWE stock last week for even more liquidity, those funds are going to run out fast if they can't put on any more shows or make any new content. Even the biggest wrestling promotion in the world is going to need to cut costs to survive this crisis. Likely because of this, WrestlingNews.co is reporting there is concern in the WWE locker room, which has found itself become bloated and overstocked in the last few years. As Vince McMahon wanted to sign and retain as much wrestling talent as possible, some to huge money deals beyond their actual drawing worth, just to keep them away from competitors like AEW. The report explains that WWE is unlikely to hit their revenue projections this year, which were already low because of declining interest in the product and falling network subscriptions, so there will be pressure to cut back on costs. Apparently, lower card wrestlers have privately acknowledged that there may be some tough decisions made this year, and there is a fear of talent cuts coming at some point. The backstage feeling is that the top stars and mid-card wrestlers will be fine, but those not often used on shows are worried about not just their WWE futures, but their wrestling careers outside the promotion too, as they can't depend on AEW as the safety net, as they're in the exact same position as WWE. This will be tough for a lot of guys and for a lot of people in the wrestling business overall. Which WWE wrestlers do you think might be at risk at getting released? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere, reminding you that yes, the Colognes actually still are under contract with the company. You'd assume that when it comes to it, WWE would prioritize letting go talent whose contracts are up anyway, and that plays into one current WWE Champion's status. Thank you for your support on Patreon, Crafty Craftsman Blake Carp. Kairi Sane hasn't been seen on WWE TV since the 9th of March, despite being scheduled in a women's tag team title defense with Asuka against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross at WrestleMania. Wrestling Observer Radio has revealed this is actually because Sane has been in Japan to get married. Congratulations! But for whatever reason, likely because of worldwide travel restrictions, she wasn't available until the very end of WrestleMania tapings. So that's why this whole promotion the last couple of weeks has been all Asuka, no Kairi Sane. And if the Kabuki Warriors drop the belts, that could be a sign that WWE might part ways with Sane. It's been reported for months that Kairi's contract is up soon, with Dave Meltzer even revealing he could definitely see her leaving. She's definitely expressed interest in exploring other options. And Takakai Kadani, the president of Bushi Road, which owns both New Japan Pro Wrestling and all women's promotion Stardom, has publicly told Tokyo Sports he wants her back. The six-man tag between Kevin Owens and the Street Profits against Seth Rollins, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory was the only real new wrestling match on Monday's Raw. But despite being pre-recorded, Montez Ford treated it as live, and he made a dangerous, perfectly avoidable botch. Brian Alvarez has revealed that Ford's huge flip dive to the outside, where there was no one there to catch him, meaning he crashed and burned hard on the steel ramp, didn't only go wrong, with initial speculation being that Theory was out of position to catch him, but that the spot wasn't planned at all. Apparently, Rollins was meant to trip Ford when he bounced off the ropes, which Seth just about did, but Montez did the flip dive anyway because he seemingly thought Rollins wouldn't get to him in time. Theory didn't know this was coming, so he panicked and took a bump anyway, despite not being touched. Ford tweeted following the match, "How the phone conversation went between my mum and I tonight," with a clip of Mike Tyson saying, "I broke my back is broken." Hopefully that's just a joke, as the Street Profits' Raw Tag Team title defense at WrestleMania has already been rebooked once, with Theory replacing the injured Andrade. What's more peculiar is that this match was pre-recorded, meaning Ford could have easily stopped the in-ring action and reset the finish, rather than taking the very dangerous bump to the outside. And that isn't the only time WWE have kept in a botch this week, as they've also debuted the Monday Night Raw commercial filmed in February, keeping in the shot where Samoa Joe controversially suffered a concussion when being put through a table. But when injury strikes, just fire up 2K20, because that game is totally botch-free. WWE have announced Dream Match Mania for the network, where WWE superstars will play fantasy matches in WWE 2K20. Please glitch out on air, please glitch out on air. Like The Rock versus Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus, John Cena versus Hulk Hogan, Seth Rollins versus Ric Flair, Charlotte versus Beth Phoenix, and Goldberg versus Big E, of which the announcement asks, what will happen when these two big men bump meet in the ring? Bump meet. Bump meet. Bump me. Dream Match Mania is likely a way to compensate for the many changes to the WrestleMania card. And now WWE have finally publicly addressed what's going on with one of those top bouts. Elias versus King Corbin is still going ahead. Don't worry everybody, Elias isn't dead. WWE has revealed Elias's condition with the following statement. Elias has been recovering at a rehab facility and swears that somehow, some way, he will compete against Corbin at WrestleMania. Man, that's gonna be good, but I can't wait for Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. WrestleMania will likely be the last time we'll see wrestlers compete for a while, with society preparing itself for total lockdown through April. As expected, WWE have cancelled all their live shows in April, meaning they'll continue with no fans Raw, SmackDown, and NXTs from the Performance Center, providing Orlando authorities allow those to go ahead. The Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut confirmed the 27th of April Raw has been cancelled, but it's speculated WWE want to start their touring shows back up again with the 1st of May SmackDown in New York, which they're still currently selling tickets for. The situation is the same for wrestling promotions across the globe, as New Japan have now officially extended their run of cancelled shows through to April the 18th. AEW appear to have done the same, but they are pushing ahead as though their next big pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, will still take place in Las Vegas on Saturday the 23rd of May, only revealing on Monday that the finals to crown their inaugural AEW TNT Champion will take place there. That is only 2 months away though, and many are preparing for total lockdown to be at least 3 months long. In the meantime, AEW has started taping Dynamite and Dark in advance from a secret location. They've previously been recording from the family-owned Daly's Place in Florida, but Jacksonville authorities are now using the parking lot as a major testing center for Steve Corino. Dave Meltzer is reporting AEW have instead moved to an undisclosed location to prevent fans from showing up asking for autographs and pictures during the pandemic, because true marks don't observe social distancing. Some episodes have already been taped from Daly's Place, but future episodes will be from this secret location. A secret location like parts unknown, which is where The Undertaker lives with Michelle McCool and their herd of cuddly tigers. Undertaker to AEW confirmed! A move that's 110% definitely going to happen because the dead man just tweeted Chris Jericho. God damn it, Undertaker, stop being lame on Twitter. During the dead man's promo segment on Raw this week, he called Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson AJ Styles' two ass clowns, which is actually one of top AEW star Chris Jericho's many catchphrases. Pointing this out on Twitter, a fan tweeted Jericho saying he should file a lawsuit against the dead man, to which Jericho replied by saying, "Hardly. He's the Undertaker. He can use as many of my catchphrases as he wants." Cowboy hat emoji. To which Taker himself replied, "My bad, Chris Jericho. I knew I had heard that somewhere before." Undertaker to AEW confirmed. Double gasp. Undertaker to be the inaugural AEW TNT Champion confirmed. On last night's episode of Dark, AEW officially revealed the first half of the 8-man tournament to crown the inaugural AEW TNT Champion, which will see Cody Rhodes reprise last summer's feud with Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara fighting his Revolution opponent Darby Allin. The two other matches will be announced on Dynamite tonight, with the tournament starting next Wednesday and the finals happening at Double or Nothing in May if that show actually happens. We're all likely stuck at home for the long run, folks. We're all going slightly out of our minds, and we're all wrestling fans. So, we're putting on the first ever Quizzlemania live today at 4 PM EST, 1 PM PST, or 9 PM GMT. Time zones. Click on the eye above my head or the link in the video description below to set a reminder for the Adam Blompier hosted wrestling game show. It'll be me versus Luke versus Laurie versus Pete on the feed, all fighting over a copy of Doom Eternal. And you can all play along at home too. You can set your reminder by clicking the Quizzlemania event on the right now, and make sure to subscribe to Parts Unknown because Adam's latest fantasy booking video, How WWE Should Book WrestleMania Night 1, is up to watch. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.